There's more disinformation and misinformation than this idea of unconditional love is really powerful. A lot of people really believe that humanity is ascending and bringing together a coalition of light.
Are you ready to explore the unseen? From the depths of the soul to the vastness of the cosmos, we're diving into the extraordinary. Mediumship, astrology, spirituality, the paranormal, and more. Welcome to your bridge to the other side. Now join us as we unravel the mysteries of the universe, one question at a time, with your host, Kat Walker.
On the last couple of episodes, we've been visiting with the founder of Alien Contact. This is Rupert Guy, and maybe I'll let Rupert briefly explain what they do again. And we're going to continue our conversation that we've had the last couple episodes about the organization and about the alien beings and the future of the organization. So Rupert, again, just a little short blurb about what you all do.
Yeah. Alien Contact is a group that hosts regular online events, 3 or 4 online events every week, and also occasionally in-person events, maybe 30 to 50 in-person events every year. And during those events, we meditate, we astrally project to different non-human entities, we communicate with them, we've built up friendships, constructive relationships with a lot of them. We get to know them, and we try to work together to not just enhance our friendships and our knowledge of them, but also to try and help humanity to ascend, to understand how to interact with others in a more harmonious way, in a way that is one day going to facilitate our joining these beings in their interstellar, interdimensional communities.
Well, we've discussed in the last 2 episodes where they've been where we think they've been with humanity, what things they have done with us to at least to a degree, and how they're communicating with us. I'd like for you to explain a little bit of where you think this group is moving and what kind of progress we may be making towards interstellar peace, I imagine, peace between species, peace. Where do you think this is all going?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people really believe that humanity is ascending, that more and more people are understanding spirituality, and we as a species are meditating more, and we're ascending, and we're close to breaking through some kind of barrier where we can all be peaceful with each other. And then on the other side, there's a lot of people that look at the world today and see the erosion of democracy, the erosion of truth. There's more disinformation and misinformation than there is actual factual information circulating. Wars seem to be spreading. International conflict seems to be increasing. And a lot of people are confused, well, which one is really the case? The reality is that they're both happening, and that over the next 10 years, there is going to be a greater and greater division. And really, probably one of the most important messages I can give is that people need to pick a side to be on. Are people as individuals going to descend into unpleasantness and hostility and hatred and war and conflict, or are they going to reject all forms of negative discrimination and hatred and ascend on a personal level? So while large amounts of humanity is falling, a smaller number of humans are ascending. And there is this great division happening. And, I'm a scientist and I can see the reality of climate change. That alone is disastrous. That's catastrophic. That's pushing us rapidly towards the uninhabitability of this planet.
Yeah.
Human beings,
Devastation. Yeah.
human beings are literally committing suicide. They're trying to, they're not trying to, but they are, for whatever reason, failing. So what I am trying to do, for most of my life, I've been trying to save humanity, but so many humans, they're just beyond saving. What my focus is on these people who are wanting to ascend, and I am working with different non-human entities to help those people, because guidance is good. And we help to guide people to understand how to be better than human, how to recognize the darker instincts and feelings that we might have that keep us in these perpetual cycles of conflict, and reject them for something better. So I help people to hold on to and embrace and nurture and strengthen the best of humanity while leaving behind the worst. Mm-hmm. And that is what my group, Alien Contact, is all about. We have like a video course series that people can watch in order to enlighten themselves, to help them ascend, and experiential events where we do meditations and we connect with alien beings and we build up friendships with them, spiritual healing events. That's really my focus on what I am doing in the present and into the future.
Well, let me ask you this, and this may be a tad off subject, but as somebody who works in the spiritual realm, but also has worked for many years as a therapist, we all have a shadow side. So we all have the dark and the light. Do your events help people enlarge the light inside of them?
Yes.
This is something I'm always looking towards in the work I do, is the love and the light side of people.
Absolutely. Our vision, our group's vision and my vision is universal peace, universal love, and universal well-being. And everything that we do is encapsulated in that vision. The universal part means every conscious life form. And we put peace first. Peace has to come above everything else. If we don't put peace above everything else, then we won't have peace. It's okay for people to have different beliefs if we can be peaceful with each other. It's okay for people to really live their lives in different ways if we can be peaceful with each other. And we need that before we can live in an interspecies community. But absolutely, everybody has what you describe as a shadows or shadow sides to themselves. Everybody has these darker instincts. And I could go into the science of it, why I think we have them. And I think it's, to do with evolution and things like that. But wherever they came from, we have to understand that if human beings just do what we feel we should do, we're going to keep doing the same things and we're going to end up destroying ourselves. We have to understand that not all of our feelings are on the light side. Not all of our feelings are loving. And so it's really important that we move beyond just doing what our gut feeling tells us we should do, and we intellectualize that we do have these darker sides to us, and sometimes they feel right, but we need to understand that we have to let go of those. We have to let go of our need for revenge, for example. If somebody does something bad to us, it has served us well in the past for us to attack them back, put them down, even kill them or destroy them if it's another nation. It helps us to survive. This competition, this darkness of competition.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch a movie in which the bad person in the movie, the antagonist, suffers some kind of horrible fate at the end of the movie, I'm like, it's like, yes, they got what they deserved. But we need to be able to move past that and feel sympathy for anybody that has darkness within them, and
Absolutely.
only treat them with love. And we need to give up our need to judge others and then punish them. That's just one example of the darknesses, the shadow parts of ourselves. So my group helps people recognize what feels like maybe we should be doing, but that's a human darkness that we need to get past.
In the work I do, one of my guides, and I did mention to you, one of my guides is of an alien nature, has always told me that vibrationally, our darker vibrations, just as our lighter vibrations, go out. And so trying to keep our vibrations up, because, and I guess I would be using the right phrases, but because of quantum physics, every vibration we have reaches the very furthest parts of the universe. So what we do, even as individuals, is touching every other life form. And I consider, when we talk about life forms, I'm talking about plants. I'm talking about everything. Everything has vibration. What I get is, in order for us to ascend, we need to consciously try to love, even quote unquote, the unlovable, look at them with compassion and empathy and bless them, as opposed to put them down, and find the empathy within ourselves. Well, now we may not be able to see or feel where that came from in that individual. As humans, we have a tendency to want to know why and where, but it's not for us to know that. We couldn't possibly know all of that, because we are so interconnected to the Ebons, to the animals, and I'm really not so sure that we are superior to animals. We may have more technology or ability to hurt them, but I'm not at all sure we are superior to animals or plants. I feel even plants have a consciousness and are connected. So I am getting a little off track there, but I think there is a light that can be given off of everything.
I agree. Our emotions and our spiritual state do impact others. Whenever you think of a person, for example, that is not just an isolated thought that is confined to your head. When you think of another person, you make a spiritual connection with them. You touch them. And if you're thinking happy things about them, nice things, wishing them well, wishing them healing, that has a direct spiritual effect on that person. And if you're hating on somebody, then that has a direct spiritual effect on them. You harm the universe when you hate others.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just a thought. And you help the universe when you love others.
And this is something I hadn't planned on getting into, but this is where I believe magic comes in, because when you do things that are positive and loving and thoughtful towards another person, even if that person has harmed you, especially if that person has harmed you, you are sending positive energy. And that positive energy, like Deanna raising my arms, is love and changes the circle.
Yeah.
It changes the balance in a positive way. And that is what I call magic.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But it has something I think we consciously have to work on, and we consciously have to do. And I know
Yeah.
every day of my life, that is what I work on. And these times, sometimes it's very difficult for me. I am not by any sense a guru or a master of being able to do it, but I try to make the conscious effort every single day. And I think that that's part of the messages that we receive.
Absolutely. And I agree with you when you look at some of the things that some of the people are doing on the planet at the moment. It's very hard to not react in a the metaphor that we could use is a lower vibrational way to them.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to understand that those darker reactions, that's what that feeds into the darkness. And if we as a species and as societies around the world, if we could love unconditionally, then when we notice somebody doing something bad, instead of punishing or holding accountable, if we could go in there and try and understand why are they doing that? How can we learn to help them not to do it again in a loving way? How can we learn how, because of what they did, can we help others not to do the same thing? A lot of people commit crimes, for example, on this planet because their lives are not very good and they kind of pushed in that direction. If we could make the lives of everybody better, it would have such a positive impact on the whole of society. This idea of unconditional love is really powerful, and it's what we need to embrace. It doesn't mean accepting every bad thing that's happening on the planet. It doesn't mean that we don't work towards prevention, or even if we need to, isolating people from others so that they don't continue to harm. But it does mean caring about every single conscious being on this planet and in the universe.
What I always say, sometimes we need to love from afar
Yeah.
and send love to that person from afar. Because sometimes somebody can be so toxic towards us, we don't stop loving them. We love them from afar. We are kind to them. But we may have to separate ourselves out a little bit.
Yeah.
My belief and what I get from my own spirit guide is that when we are all connected, we are all part of the one. So if I am hating on you or being negative towards you, I'm actually doing it to myself as well. However, I don't want to be selfish about it either. We should do it for the whole. But if I am unkind to somebody else, I'm actually hurting my own child.
Yeah.
If you could think of it that way, because my child's part of the whole as well. If that makes any sense.
It makes complete sense. We are far more connected than most people really understand. And to hurt one person is to harm everybody.
And I do believe, I believe in past lives, and I do believe probably some of us are older souls that maybe have been through more that made us possibly be born with more empathy and compassion. But I think empathy and compassion can be like a virus, a good virus that we can spread by doing kindness to others.
Yes, I think that when people live their lives in a very loving, empathic, kind way, where they don't need to harm anybody for any reason, they appear as bright lights on this planet. And those bright lights are attractive. And lots of people will come in and say, hey, I like that. And they will join the community. They will join the community of light, and their light will brighten and their darkness will fade. And together the light expands and grows and gets stronger. I call the group that I am bringing together of humans and non-humans, of spirits and physical beings, a coalition of light. And it is absolutely expanding.
I love that. I'm hoping that it's not too late for this planet, but hope springs eternal, and I do get positive messages. So we will continue to try and spread that. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wind up our series?
Well, maybe I'd just like to let people know that if they're interested in following what I do, finding out more about me, maybe watching some of my videos, my website is patreon.com/alien contact. And there's a big join for free button in the middle of my Alien Contact Patreon group. You click on that, and then you can be invited to all of my events.
And by the way, if you missed any of the episodes, go back and look at them, because it kind of strings together. It's like one big conversation. On that note, we're going to sign off for today. Thank you for a fascinating series, Rupert. I have really enjoyed it. You have enlightened me, and we've been able to share some ideas. And I'm certainly going to do more events with you. And hopefully I'll have more that I can report back to some of the viewers. And be sure and subscribe to this podcast so we can continue to provide this kind of fascinating information. And as always, I wish you love, light, and positive vibes, and have the great rest of your day and week. Namaste.